Hey Binders, before we get started with today's episode, I wanted to let you know about my new Oracle deck called the Magic Morsels Oracle deck. It is an exploration of the things we crave, and yes, by that I mean food. Let's pull a card for today, shall we? The chicken nuggies. This card is representative of our subconscious. And I know what some of you might be thinking, Laura, I'm vegan. I don't need chicken nuggies. Well, guess what? I have a vegan edition of this same deck for your Oracle pleasure. You can find our new Magic Morsels Oracle decks over at ladymoon.co or on our Etsy, etsy.com/ladymooncompany. And if you'd like a discount, because I would, you can get 20% off with the code MORSELS. Use that at checkout, and bon appetit.
Hermes, draw near, and to my prayer incline, in arts gymnastic and in fraud divine.
Dire weapon of the tongue which men revere, be present, Hermes, in thy suppliant here.
Welcome to Third Eye Bind, episode 34, Water.
Hi, I'm Laura.
And I'm Kaitlyn.
And welcome to Third Eye Bind.
In this episode, the first in our elemental series, we are discussing water.
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 But before we get to that, if you like us, want to support us, give us some sunshine goodness, you can rate, subscribe, review, tell your friends, pause this right now and leave us a 5-star, you know?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And if you love us, we would love for you to support our independent podcast by becoming a patron. You can find us at patreon.com/third slash Third Eye Bind. Patrons who contribute $5 or more receive access to all of our incredible content, which includes blogs, extended episodes, deck reviews, TV show reviews,
Ouija board experimentation,
Holy Spirit board experimentation, which is the only spirit board that allows you to communicate directly with Jesus Christ himself.
And ascend directly
to heaven. You also have access to the full-length version of our super cool theme song. So please support our podcast there. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And
thank you.
Thank you to all our patrons who are already doing that. We really appreciate you.
Before we get started, we need to pull a card from the Sirens of Song 3rd edition tarot deck. Who designed that?
I did.
With black holographic details?
Yes.
Don't mind if we do.
Water. What an element.
I love this color.
Water.
Water.
You think it'd be something like
Like
the moon,
a bridge over
cups.
troubled water.
I will be.
Ooh, that's it. What's it gonna be?
I'm scared.
Wait, did I pull? No trust. Okay.
Okay.
I always think I pull too many cards, and they're like, "Why don't you trust yourself?" This is interesting.
What is it?
I pulled the Two of Swords.
Oh.
The Two of Swords reversed, to be exact. The song for this is "Should I Stay or Should I Go?"
Huh.
Okay.
Okay.
I love this.
You know
song.
what? That makes sense to me.
But the Two of Swords, though it is a swords card, if
Which
we're
is
looking
what element
at
is swords?
Swords is air.
Okay. Air.
But if we're looking at the Smith-Waite version of the deck, we have a figure who's sitting on what looks like a stage. It's one of the stage cards on a stone bench, and they're draped in a very watery outfit, and they're blindfolded.
Oh, is that the
and they're
one
holding
with the
two swords in front of themselves like this. And behind them is water.
Really?
And the moon.
Oh, okay.
And when this card comes up, it is, yes, about making difficult decisions or feeling stuck when it comes to being at a crossroads. But it's also the reminder that you don't need to see what's ahead in order to understand what decision is best for you. And by tapping into our psychic abilities, our psychic gifts, represented by that still water behind the figure, we are able to divine, to interpret which path we should proceed upon. And when it comes to water, there's so many beautiful ways that you can commune with water.
Yes.
And divination is certainly one of them. Water is also an element that flows freely, not only through our physical realm, but my understanding is that it flows through the spirit realms as well. It is the element that connects us all together.
It's a conduit for spiritual connection.
It is a conduit for spirit connection. And that's one of the reasons why, as espiritistas, but other people do this too, we put a glass of water on our altars. Or if we are doing a candle spell, we place that candle in a bowl of water. It is because the water draws the spirit nearer to the surface it sits upon. It invites them to participate in whatever is going on in that space. So I think this is actually a really cool card.
That resonates with me. I wonder sometimes if the cards that we're pulling are sort of not just for the topic, but have to do with our energies as well.
Absolutely.
Because my struggle in my life really has been to let myself wade in the water or to resist that. And by the water, I don't necessarily mean like spirituality and mysticism and things like that, but I mean like my emotions and like the things that are below the surface and the soft, still things that are a part of me. I have a very, hard time like taking down the bricks I've put up because of trauma and things like that. So the indecision with the swords and that being air and me being a very airy person, an earthy person really, tapping into the water and like accepting that is a part of me because it is on my chart too. Like a part of me, that's sort of my internal struggle a little bit. So that's sort of what
Two things you mentioned were interesting to me. One, that you put up walls and like it's about breaking them back down. And in the Two of Swords, this person is protecting themselves.
Yeah, like when you can tell someone hides their like solar plex or their middle gushies
and their heart.
Middle gushies. Yeah, their heart, your internal organs.
Yeah.
And yes,
they're protecting themselves very with much those two swords. And then also, you mentioned like a lot of earth energy. And when we think about water, like water has the strength to move the soil.
Mountains and
to carve valleys. And it's this gentle element when we first look at it, but it's also extremely strong.
I love water because I just have a very strange relationship to the element because my ancestors were surrounded by it as were like yours. And that's the thing. That's a lot of water energy to be surrounded by if you're descendant of like island people. Like that's there for me. It holds me together. It's there for me in like a way that it's inviting. It's I don't know, it feels very inviting to me. It's like, come play with me. Like, you want to be here. And like the ocean is like a very big deal to me and a very magnetic thing, and the moon and the ocean and things. And then because I do think I'm a very watery person on the inside, but then having that, different elements come to you in different ways and at different times when you need them, right? So I've needed earth, I've needed fire, I've needed air, like, and it's interesting to me in general with elements, like the way that they play into individuals' lives in very different ways, right?
You said water kind of like holds you. Yeah. When you're like an island person or descendant of island people. And something that came to mind for me is that water is the womb. We were just
we're
talking about
made of
placenta.
water, and the womb, yeah,
And like water is the womb that holds us when we're island people.
Yeah.
And we're like in the little womb of all of the ocean around us. And it really like keeps us. Are you going to cry? Please do.
it's the water episode.
It's the water episode.
No, it's just
It's what we do. I
it's
love
what
to
we
cry.
do.
It's my favorite.
It's the time. I love to cry.
I do. I love crying. I have a lot of water in my chart. So
You're a Cancer rising.
I'm a Cancer rising Scorpio moon, and I have
Oh,
a
yeah.
Cancer stellium and well, I only have 2 or 3 signs in Scorpio, but yeah, I'm very watery. I'm a watery baby.
It's great. My Venus is in Cancer, and I'm surrounded by water people in my life. My mom and my dad and my husband.
Cute.
So there's a lot. And I've dated a lot of Cancer people. That's sort of been the vibe. But it's interesting because my relationship with like the element of or like the sign of Cancer, because my dad is a Cancer, and my dad is the sort of Cancer that's very introverted with their feelings, or has been in the past, was very like
Keeps that
hoards
crab
them in the
shell
crab
on.
shell. Yeah, because I feel like some people are like very like, I'm great about everything, you know. And I think the emotion is always there, but it's the emotion is always there for Cancer people, but it's like, how do you express, like, what do you do with it?
And sometimes it's like hiding it under the shell, and sometimes it's snapping
Yeah.
with their little claws.
Yeah, and so my dad was like he's not really anymore, which is nice to see, but like was very withheld and stingy with his emotion towards me. So I've always associated water with suppression
Interesting.
and like withholding,
The hidden.
like a dam almost of with that sort of a Cancer. So I think that might be where I sort of, you know, when you're a kid, you're learning about zodiacs and things like associations with different things, and that always like floodgates, like waiting to, or like a dried up lake. Like there's the potential for it, but it's not happening.
But you're not seeing it. Yeah.
But yeah, that was like, I mean, that's the type of person I come from. So yeah, I mean, you know, being outward with feelings was not something that I was privy to growing up. So I think that I've had to work, being a very emotional person, have to work with like being comfortable with water and my emotions and being vulnerable, because water is vulnerable. Like when you're underwater, your senses are muted, which is very calming, but it's scary
Because you also aren't,
you don't know what's beneath
what's around you.
in the ocean and lakes and big bodies of water are intimidating, because there's just this element of like letting go,
Yeah.
which is hard to do.
You're at the water's mercy.
So
for
yes,
sure.
the water
Yeah.
is very powerful, and it's just transmutative in the way that it exists in the world, right? Because it's so free flowing. Like it's not like air. Air is different. Air is like flighty, and light, and
It's here and it's gone.
ecstatic,
Yeah.
and like without like this extra weight to it, like very frivolous and like fun and powerful too. But water is like different. It's a different kind of energy to me.
To quote Olaf from Frozen 2, water has memory.
Water has memory.
Water has a memory.
Water, like when you're talking about the altar, the water on the altar, which is a great offering, because who's not thirsty sometimes, right? I feel like when you leave a cup of water outside by accident, or like out around your house by accident, and then you go to drink it and you're like, oh no, that's old water.
Yeah.
Because the water's absorbed shit.
Yes.
Water absorbs energy really fucking well.
Yeah.
And like even more for me sometimes than like a quartz or something. Like it really just, you don't want to drink that water.
No, it's gross.
You know what I mean? Because it's
That's the world's water
collected
now.
things. Like it's collected things that dust, bugs, whatever, but also like energy.
Absolutely.
And you can I can sense that. I know you can, and like I'm sure some of you listening can too.
Yeah.
And it's just it's such an interesting element.
I was definitely one of those kids that like left cups of water all over the house.
Yeah.
Because like halfway through it, I would forget about it. And then I'd come back and be like, I'm not drinking that now.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a new one.
Yeah.
It drove my dad nuts. Just put it in the sink.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's just such
Didn't you see signs?
Didn't you see signs?
But that also, this idea that like water absorbs energy brings me to my first favorite way to use water, which is for cleansing. And it seems so practical and obvious to use it for cleansing because it's how we physically wash our bodies using water, but we can also spiritually and energetically cleanse and clear our bodies using just water.
Yeah.
And something that's become really trendy lately is the cold water plunge.
Yeah.
And it is something that I think folks don't realize has origins in probably more than just Mesoamerican culture. But what I can relate to is
not a new thing.
Mesoamerican culture, you would do cold plunges in like cenotes in these bodies of water that were not were believed to be spiritual, but are.
They are.
Spiritual. They are portals to the other realms.
Yeah.
And by immersing yourself in there, you're like cleansing your energy, cleansing your body. One of my favorite ways to recommend clients to cleanse is to like take a cold shower.
Yeah.
Just for a couple minutes. Take an icy cold shower and see how different you feel after you getting your head under that cold water.
Water is like taking showers. I don't take cold showers often. Sometimes I'll rinse my hair because it makes your hair shiny. But just showering for me is like, I have to do, like, that's how I can cleanse myself spiritually. Like 100% it's water. So it's funny to me that I'm not resistant to water, but the emotional part of it. There's just, it's an interesting thing. It's very there for me. But it's, yeah, in my day-to-day, I have trouble, I have trouble breaking down my trauma stones that I built in my brick wall. We all do, but in different ways, right?
In different
Some people,
ways.
it might be air scary, you know?
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
Yeah.
It's just like...
I also have like, I have a reverent fear of large bodies
Me too.
of water.
I'm not jumping in the ocean.
Like
I love
rivers are my jam. River, creek, flowing water in
Like a
one
flowing
direction. Love that. Ocean, beautiful. I will only get in sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, there's like whales are so big.
Whales are amazing.
And they fit in the ocean.
Lots of whales.
Lots of them.
Lots of them.
And like there's stuff in the ocean that like we're never even going to know exists.
We've explored more of the space than we have
of the ocean. Yes. And like that deep, dark mystery. It's a little scary. I think reasonably scary.
And sometimes that's what emotions feel like.
Yeah. And that's why cups are both the suit of our emotions and also the suit of our psychic and spiritual gifts.
Yeah. Into the unknown.
to bring it full circle. Yeah. It is Frozen 2.
Frozen 2 is a good movie.
Frozen 2 is so good.
That was
Elsa
really elemental. I mean, it makes
queer
sense.
icon.
Elsa is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an interesting.
There's this one lake in Yosemite. I don't know if it's Lake Isabella. I don't know, but there's this one lake there, and my husband really wanted to go see it. And we get there, and he's like, "I'm gonna swim in that," and I was like, "I sure as fuck am not." I am absolutely not getting in that water. That water does not want us in it.
No.
And like it's telling all of us it doesn't want any of us in it. Like I was like, that water's a graveyard.
People drown all the time.
Yeah. Well, and like when you think about the history of national parks and how indigenous people were forcefully removed from those spaces, I was just like, this is a graveyard. This water's a graveyard. It doesn't want us swimming and like, splash, splash.
I've never
it's
swam
weird.
in Yosemite anywhere. Yeah. Now that I think about it.
I get in the river there.
Hike to the waterfalls, sure.
Yeah.
But maybe I have. I don't think so.
I like the river.
The creek and river, sure.
Yeah, but I can't get into the lake.
Yeah.
I don't like any lakes. Lake Tahoe, it all freaks me out, and I think that's okay.
Yeah, I'll kayak in a lake, like a smallish lake, but I'm not gonna kayak in the ocean for my fear of sharks.
No, I'm more scared of whales than sharks.
I am terrified
They're
of
so
sharks.
large.
Whales freak me out too. Look, if I saw a fucking dolphin, I would probably shit my pants.
Be a little stressed.
And that's, my ancestors are laughing at me because we would hunt whales and shit. Like, my ancestors were like whalers and fishermen. And I'm like, eek, But
yeah.
Have I told the past life seal situation here on the show? I think I did a long time
Maybe
ago.
in season 1.
But
Remind us.
In a past life, I was a sea creature. And I was a seal, and I got eaten by a shark. I remember it vividly. Yeah. I don't recommend it. I don't want to do it again. So that's why I don't go in the ocean. But it's also why I have this like mermaid-esque desire to jump in it and also to never go in it because and I love seafood. When I eat raw seafood, I feel like I'm home, which makes sense for a multitude of reasons. But like, it's weird.
For me, it's crustaceans. I was like, I'm pretty sure. I know, like, I've been a siren in alternate lives. Yeah. And for me, like, cracking a crab, I'm like, this is something primal.
Maybe I was a selkie. Like, I don't know. Yeah, like it's primal. Like oysters for me, I'm just like, let me shuck them.
All of them.
I would go eat a barnacle.
It tastes like the ocean.
Sea urchins. Oh my God.
I love sea urchin.
I want to eat them off the rocks.
Yeah.
And it's weird. So yeah, it's like coming to me, water in the ocean and like that element is my true self. It's like the thing that I've been protecting that I need to like connect with again, because as my therapist has said, you don't need to protect yourself anymore. You're not that person anymore. So letting go of that and like wading into those waters is a nice way to look at it. A nice visual, a nice element to have around,
There's definitely an energy of rebirth that comes with water. Like baptismal energy almost. Like rebirthing yourself into someone new and ceremonially like going into water, whether it's bath or a natural body of water. Like you're a whole new human when you emerge, and that's fucking cool.
Yeah. I guess it's the more practical element to submerge yourself in. The only other I can think of being earth. You can bury yourself in dirt, which sounds nice. Or a mud bath. That's the best of both worlds right there.
It's a mix.
But water is the accessible element
yeah,
that we use on a daily basis.
And I feel like there's a reason so many cultures do like initiation ceremony through water. Like there's a reason for that. And I keep coming back to like, we were literally just talking about the experience of birth, and like when humans birth, like water comes out of us.
A lot of
and then
water.
A baby, a lot of water. It's fucking wild.
It's crazy.
It is like, where was it the whole time? But like water, like you come into this earth through a gush of water, a fucking tidal wave. And so it makes like beautiful and perfect sense that when we want to be reborn, when we want to be renewed, that we emerge from water once again. Like that's magic to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting.
It's cool. And I come from a culture where like water is this primordial mother. Like water is the spirit. And like I learned that there's a difference between like the ocean that we see, and then there's this other ocean, the dark depths, and like that's first mom. down there, that darkness. And it again reminds me of like the darkness of the womb when like a child is growing inside someone. That's just so cool.
Like,
it's so
what's
cool
down
to
there?
me. What's down there?
It's unseen. It's like hidden in a way. Like what is down there in the ocean? We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't have,
And we
as
don't need to
humans,
know.
we can't go down there. We will die.
Yeah.
We have to put machines down there and stuff. But you know what really freaks me out? There's a fear. I'm afraid of sharks. Like photos of them I don't like for reasons we've talked about. And I don't like seeing sunken things, like things that are in big bodies of water that shouldn't be, like ships, like shipwrecks and stuff. Like I don't like seeing photos of things. It's like it's a phobia. It's like but it kind of, it's not extreme, but it freaks me the fuck out. Like, because there's a lot of like, there's spirits there. Yeah. And it's just the juxtaposition of seeing something like earth side, that's not earth side, land side, that isn't land side. But there are spirits and there are like lost civilizations under the water, and the things like that really get to me. Like, you know, people talk about Atlantis and like other places that have just like sunk in the water, like shipwrecks and plane wrecks, and it's just very strange. There's a lot of crazy shit in the ocean. There's like nuclear bombs in the ocean.
That's wild,
that are just sitting there. You don't have a lot of, you know what it is? The lack of control for me in water. As a human.
Water's mercy.
Yeah. And you have to be really skilled, like a diver, like a commercial diver, whatever. That's a whole ass skill, because I just got like a head rush. Like, to be under the water, you're not in your as a human, you're not in your element. Like you're not. It's so scary to me because I guess I'm a bit of a control freak. So
what we're gathering is
Laura's earthy, but it's scary.
You are at the mercy of water.
It's physical vulnerability, and then there's the emotional vulnerability, like the symbolism of both of those things. Like it's all just vulnerability.
I think it's good for us to know that like there are certain things in this world that are beyond our control and that we need to be reverent to.
Yeah.
I think it's good for us to know those things. When my family decided to leave Cuba, my grandfather told me that my grandmother had to go and petition the ocean and like ask for permission. We have to ask for permission before we can cross the water. And after they received permission from the ocean, that's when everything was able to like get put into play and they were able to come here.
Yeah.
And whenever I talk about traveling, I want to go here, I want to go there, my grandfather's always like, well, did you ask the ocean? I'm like, damn, no, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, just the amount of like migration and immigration and like moving around people have done with the ocean. I mean, our planet's like a lot of water, and just all the good and bad that's happened from people just moving through the ocean with or without permission is very interesting.
Like, the Middle Passage was like literal mass human trafficking of African people across the ocean back and forth. And like I've had sessions with clients to speak to shipwrecks. Like I've had sessions with clients who are of the African diaspora and like ancestors of theirs who are like stuck at the bottom of the sea and needing elevation and assistance to like free their spirits from being stuck in their watery graves. Like people who chose the ocean over bondage, people who were lost in shipwrecks, like needed that help, those prayers to help free themselves from like these watery graves. But yeah, like the ocean has seen some horrible things happen without her permission, and all of that memory is in the water. All of that memory is in the water.
No wonder there's like rage sometimes, and there's tsunamis, and there's that kind of, not that elements have just one energy. I mean, it's Mother Nature. It's the good and the bad. It's an unbiased sort of thing.
It is,
but
chaotic neutral.
It's chaotic neutral out there. But yeah, that's so fucked up. That's so fucked up and sad. Like, even when they would do the witch trials and things, the trials where if you float, you're whatever it was. If you're afloat, you're a witch. If you drown, you're not, but you're still gonna die. They're not gonna jump in and save you. It's just like throwing people into that's just a lot.
It's a lot. Our ocean mother has...
You've been used for violence, like just the violence that's been seen and experienced and used and as a means to like kill and murder people.
And all that memories in the water too. And I do think like when you come from...
haunted ocean shit. That freaked me the fuck out right now.
When you come from like Christianity, they really push this like, our God is a benevolent God. Our God is a benevolent God. But if you like go into the Bible, if you read your own book, if we read our own book, we will see that like God is equal parts responsible for creation and destruction. And the ocean is a really beautiful example of this, because not only does she feed us by bringing us fish, keep us warm by bringing us like the fat of whales, but she can also wipe out an entire island. You know, like a hurricane can happen so quickly, a tsunami can happen so quickly. And I think it's important, humans are so obsessed right now in this version of the world with like having control, like owning things, owning land, owning the earth. And you can build all you want on land,
You think you own whatever land you land on. The last episode we had.
A Pocahontas sing-along.
Pocahontas moment.
And now we're back.
It's the great song. The movie is highly problematic, but that
one song is really good.
That song is beautiful.
The movie has many, many issues, but the song is incredible.
Colors of the Wind is an incredible song.
Colors of the Wind forever. But I don't remember what we were talking about.
Talking about control.
Oh, right. Like, you can build all you want, skyscrapers and shit, but like, you can't do that in the ocean, and the ocean can take it away at any time. And that's like, it's humbling in a good way. It's an important reminder that like, we're not the bosses here.
No.
Creation asked us to tend to the earth, not to conquer it. And no matter how hard we try to conquer it, like, we are always at the earth's mercy. We're always at the ocean's mercy.
Yeah. It's turbulent. Like, it's like emotions are turbulent. Like, it's sometimes there's hurricanes and sometimes there's tsunamis and sometimes
there's
calm.
Clear water.
It's not all zen and calm and,
Because that's not what life is. And we're all just mirrors of one another.
It's just... That's so interesting to me.
What are some ways you like using water in your spiritual practice?
I like a nice spritz. Like a nice airy spritz. Showering's a big one. Bathing myself in water. I mean, it's like night and day. If you ask like Mike, like I have to take a shower at the same time every day. I'm very ritualistic about my water. It's like before I eat dinner, I like to bathe myself.
I like that.
I just do. I'm a night showerer. I'm not a day showerer.
Yeah.
It's like nighttime before I eat or cook. Like I want to get all that off of me from the day. Like, and then I'm like rejuvenated. It's wild. Like it's a shower. I get it. But like, it's more than that. But it's more than that. It's more just putting my head under water and like I don't wash my hair all the time, but when I wash my hair, my God. Because hair holds
It's a different
things
shower.
too.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the hair shower is a different shower. It's a different kind of clean.
That is rebirth.
That
the
is
hair shower.
That is rebirth.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, get the scalp massage in
Oh,
there.
yes. Uh-huh.
That's the big one is showers. And I do leave like some water out on my altar most of the time. And the way when I cleanse objects, I use water a lot of. I just like, even when I garden, you know, I have to water. I don't have sprinklers, so I have to hand water everything. So just feeding my plants with water, like there's a lot of water going on at all times.
Gardening really is a magical practice.
It really is. Keeping them all alive is hard sometimes and gnat free. But it's the struggle of my life. But yeah, but it's funny because I do embrace water a lot on a daily basis and interact with it a lot. But then when I think about myself, like I said, and my personality, it's I almost have like a crab shell myself that I never wanted to have. I'm better now. I'm getting better, but yeah, I mean, it's my discernment is too strong sometimes. It's gotten better, but it's just so sad to me because I've wasted a lot of time being hard shelled when I didn't need to be. At least I know that. It's just really difficult sometimes when it's not your immediate instinct to like be vulnerable all the time. It's hard. It's really hard for me. So yeah, but I do I do have it and it is there. And I think that's what's kind of nice about getting to know your chart.
Yeah.
You know, and because yeah, I'm airy, but I think the only air I have is my sun and my moon.
Interesting.
Which is a big one.
Yeah.
That's definitely the only Gemini placements I have. And then Taurus rising. There's a lot of earth, but there's also water. I don't know where else my water is. I'm going to check.
Do you have your birth chart on your phone?
Yeah. Let's check.
Pull it up. I'll pull mine up too.
Let's check our waters and our charts and see what that tells us.
Kaitlyn.
Huh. The sky is a
chart.
mirror. That's what's coming up. It is.
So is the water.
And it reflects the water. Okay, my chart. Yes, there's Cancer and Mercury and Venus. So
Interesting.
yeah. Scorpio, Pluto. I think everyone's Scorpio is Pluto around our age.
In our
right?
age, yeah.
I know, I'm always like, fucking whatever. I don't want to know what my Pluto is. Sagittarius, Saturn, and Uranus. I also think those are sort of fixed, right? I don't know.
No, mine is different.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sag is fire, right? Yeah. Capricorn, Neptune, and Mars. And then Pisces, Jupiter, which I think is maybe fixed. I don't know. Well, I got a Pisces and I got 2 Cancers.
Cute.
So really, I have a lot of...
More water
and a Scorpio.
than you think.
It's watery. There's like the least amount I think is fire.
Yeah.
I only have
mine too.
a little bit of
I feel like
Sagittarius.
that's why I'm so sleepy all the time.
I'm so
I don't
relaxed.
have a lot of fire.
Chill.
My moon is in Scorpio. My Venus is in Cancer. My Mars is in Cancer. My Chiron is in Cancer. My rising is in Cancer. And Pluto is in Scorpio.
Yeah.
Like you. But I have so much water in my chart.
I think that lends very well to what you do.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is why I am not only a psychic, but that I'm like the mystic mother, the mother of mystics, because like I definitely feel like I embody Cancer in the soft way, in the like caretaker way, like taking people under my wing sort of way. And I've always been like that. When I was in high school, like my friends were all people I took under my wing and wanted to take care of. And
That's interesting. Yeah. That our Venus and Mercury are all in Cancer. We're the same.
I know.
And we have a podcast together.
Weird, right?
And we're both Geminis. That's similar. But different at the same time.
I have a lot of Gemini in my chart too.
Yeah.
I think I have 3 Gemini placements.
Wow. Yeah.
But I use water a lot in my practice. I have so many water glasses on my altar. I have something called a bovida, and a bovida translates to a vault. It's like your spiritual vault. And traditionally, bovida has either 1, 3, 7, or 9 glasses of water on the altar, depending on how familiar you are with all of your different spirits, how much space you have. And so I have a 9-glass bovida. And the one in the center is always the biggest one because it's for your main spirit. And then the rest are for different spirits in your court. And then I have another altar for a different type of spiritual practice, and that has water for all my water spirits. And the altar's separated in half from like hot and colds, and all the water spirits are on the cold side. And then I keep water on my divination altar that I have in my workspace. So that's the altar everybody sees when they're in sessions with me. And I make sure to put fresh water in that every single time I host a session, because it's really it's for my divining spirits, but it's also for the spirits of the clients who are attending. And not all of my clients take care of their spirits. So I need to make sure that I'm giving them water so they're not thirsty. And then
they're like stray cats.
Are you thirsty? Come get some water. Mom's got water for you.
Aww, that's very sweet.
And then when it comes to like baños, spiritual baths are a really big deal in my practice. Spiritually bathing is a big deal. Bathing before you put your whites on, bathing before you approach your altar, being clean before you approach your altar is like a big deal in our practice. Wash your feet, wash your ass, wash your hands, all of those things before you step in front of your spirits.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of it. And then I also sometimes, not so much lately, but we'll use water for divination.
Yeah, to water scry.
You can water scry the same way you would with a mirror. And I've found that like working with so many different clients from all over the world, the ones that have ancestors that tend to ask for water scrying are people with more like Celtic or European ancestry. Like their spirits will always show me this like bowl, this like deep, not deep, kind of shallow and wide bowl with water in it. And I'm like, they want you to use this. Like you need to find a bowl and start doing this. And I think that's really cool. Yeah. And then when I'm doing fire rituals, when I'm doing like a candle spell, I always put my candles inside of a bowl of water because it like pulls the spirits closer to the intention. That's fucking cool to me.
Really cool.
And then like mopping the floors is a spiritual practice. Yeah. Washing your clothes is a spiritual practice.
Cleaning is a spiritual practice.
Cleaning is a spiritual practice.
In general.
I agree.
Sweeping. Washing your walls.
Yes, washing your walls is an excellent
washing your
practice.
ass. The walls are like the ass of the house. Like we need to get in there.
Hands all
more
over
than
them.
we think we do. What am I talking about?
The walls are the ass of the house, Laura Wong.
Laura Wong. Put that on my tombstone. God. But you know what I was gonna say in a serious voice. I'm such a little weirdo because I found like water is so there for me. What am I trying to say? Sometimes spirits, deities, they're there with you even if you don't realize why or that you need them yet or that do you know what I mean? Like sometimes they show themselves when at least like Venus energy, that kind of, I have a tattoo, okay? Like, and I'm sitting here like, I'm just Little Miss Two Swords. Like, no, like I'm actually I don't know, I think I'm realizing I've come a long way, but that energy has been with me for a very long
The
time.
whole time?
The whole time. It was Mrs. Doubtfire. She's been with me dressed as Mrs. Doubtfire the whole time. I love that movie.
Me too.
So good. But really, and that's kind of nice, I think, sometimes to just have something with you that, like, it knows that there's like lessons you need that need to be learned. There's lessons and things that are maybe yet to be attained. Like, my point being, I think some people think like, oh, I love Artemis because I am those things. I love Hecate because I am those things. Like, for me, they're different
It's like
reasons.
you need these things.
I need Venus. I need Venus because I am not those things yet. Or there are lessons that I need to learn, and I need that support with me now very strongly. And it's just interesting to me that the way that different energies come and go for people, and to pay attention to that, because I don't think everyone does. Sometimes it gets very aesthetically based. With very well-intentioned practitioners, I think it's just like, oh, I'm drawn to that. And you can be drawn to something. Yes, I'm very drawn to Venus imagery and Aphrodite imagery and like Mama Water energy, you know what I mean? And because those are things I need to learn about. It's not because I am all those things already.
I feel that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like aspirational energy almost.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that's really a nice, it's not just like a fun sidekick like you're equal with or whatever. Like it's like things you need to learn and listen to, and that's the relationship, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I know you know this already, but I'm just like, right? Like, I'm making sense. Like,
you are.
That's the way I feel about water is my whole point.
Yes. I definitely feel like water helped me grow up.
Yeah.
Like, I lived in air for a long time. And water is what really birthed me into being an adult who takes their responsibilities seriously, who takes care of other humans, who pays their bills on time when they can, who all these different things. Like, when I was all in my air element, I was all fucking over the place and fine with it. Yeah. Completely fine. Like, I don't want to touch down. Are you kidding me?
Like, what happens if I do that?
Absolutely not. No. I will stay in the clouds like the lunatic I was, and I'm fine with that. And like, water really helped graduate me into being a grown-up. When water started coming to me more and more, it was because I needed it. I didn't see myself in that energy. And they're like, but wait, you have this. You just don't know where it is yet. You don't know how to use it. And it's like, oh, now I understand.
Yeah.
And now that I feel very much embodied in this like water era of mine, and so much of my work is done with water spirits, ocean spirits, river spirits. My fire spirits are starting to act up.
I love
and they're like, now you need us.
Yeah.
You think you don't have this, so now you need us. And I'm like, okay, I'll buckle up.
Yeah, no, that is so cool. Yeah, I feel like I built a brick wall. I had to grow up very quickly, and I had to take care of myself and make sure I didn't die at a very young age. So I had to do that. I was still airy while doing it, but it was like Rapunzel in a building that I made for myself, and I was just high as fuck in my little tower.
Yeah.
And didn't let anyone climb up. I would just be like, get away, you know, like, I'm safe and alone and maintained, and like, now I don't need that. And that made me, angry and anxious, and like how to deal with the fire energy and the earth energy that I needed to have to survive.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, in a misogynistic environment as a young girl. So, or young femme or whatever, like just existing and suppressing the aspects of myself that were watery. That breaks my heart. But sometimes we have to do that to live.
Yeah.
And
to protect ourselves.
And that's just how it had to happen. It's a lot. It's a lot. But we can talk about it, and hopefully that'll help other people identify like what elements are showing themselves to you in what ways, because sometimes it's sneaky and it's not obvious,
And I think what you said is important. So much of our relationship with spirituality and spirits and deities is like, I relate to this. I see myself in this. But there's also this other side of, you may not see yourself here, but you need this. I know you don't see yourself here, but let me give this to you.
Or you see yourself in this, but it's not for you for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like some things you're drawn, like, again, like we were talking about in psychometry, like why are you drawn to some things and you're not to other things? Like what is the reason why? And using your discernment, bottoms up, drinking game, drink your tea, to know what that really, like the real reasons why you're connecting with the things you're trying to connect with. It's like the spell space thing with me, like Hecate is great. I'm a huge fan. Never felt connected to that deity or that energy yet, for whatever reason. Mad respect, total fan.
Yeah.
But like, just not currently
for you.
For me.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's why I haven't made a spell space dedicated
honestly,
to her yet, because
that would probably surprise people, because your whole brand is like black and purple.
Yeah. And that would surprise you, right?
Yeah.
But it's just never, if I'm being totally honest, like not,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a witch. That doesn't mean I have to be connected to certain deities and things.
And Hecate's not the only witch.
No. And not the only triple goddess.
Which we talked about.
Which we did talk about in our Maiden Mother Crone series
in season 3, which you should listen to if you haven't yet.
But yeah, sometimes they're like, it's just...
Water's so cool. Because it reminds us how small we are.
We're little itty bitties.
And how vulnerable we are.
Yeah.
And how valuable life is.
Yeah. I think with elements in astrology and all that too, I think when I was younger, I placed certain meanings upon water sign people, given that they were my family and that my family was fucked up. So I think I sort of like prejudged water sign people because I was angry at my parents because they're fucking water people. I'm serious.
Yeah.
But now the people that are coming into my life are heavily water people. My husband is a Pisces as fuck. Like, just the best energy to balance me out ever. Like, just a kind, watery, emotional dude. And I am those things, but... Yeah. So, but it's interesting that people will come to you that have certain elemental vibes, and like it's just very interesting. This is all very like the world card for me today. Like this is very like, we're all just doing the thing on the carousel of life. Like that's elements are coming and going and flowing.
Like water.
Like water.
Like the changing tides.
It's a lot. Yeah. But anywho.
Yeah. I also love the moon's connection to the water.
That's really weird. I was just going to fucking talk about
that. And the way, the moon pulls the water up and pulls it down, the tides up, the tides down. And also, like, I don't know if this happens to you, but when the moon is full or really low, I get really bloated. Like I have to take all my rings off. I have to only wear my stretchy clothes because like everything feels so tight. I'm so bloated. Like I
think I'm literally bloated because my period is like with the full moon right now.
That'll do it.
But I get what you're saying.
That'll do it. But like this week with the eclipse, we are still.
I don't want to talk about the eclipse
hangover right now.
Awful.
for everyone.
It was
Everyone's been saying
awful.
it's been a tough eclipse.
I had a rough time.
But I was like, my fingers
Oh,
were
yeah.
so swollen.
Oh, man.
Just every part of me like hurt. We were all so tired. And it's like
pain.
we are made of water.
Yeah.
So of
Yeah.
course we experience physical changes the same way the ocean experiences physical changes with
makes
the
sense.
phases of the moon.
My connection with the moon is a connection with water. And the moon was my into this whole shebang bang. So that also makes sense. There's another layer for me. It's like, I think people forget that sometimes the moon is connected to the ocean and how connected it is and how
connected,
symbiotic their
how they
relationship
need one another.
is.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
You should listen to our moon episode
moon
in season
episode.
2. It's really good.
I should listen to all of our
We
episodes.
definitely cry in that episode.
Man, it's a lot. The water's a lot.
The it's watering.
It's watering.
There's a reason. There's like
Water
that.
comes out of your eyes.
Water comes out of your
when you cry,
eyes.
when
Water
you
comes
have
out of your
emotion.
pits when you sweat.
Yes. Water comes out of your hunani when your water breaks. Like,
So much water. So much water.
and then it just comes out. And then there's a baby.
I feel like staying hydrated is a spiritual practice too.
Yeah.
And like a privilege, like having access, regular
clean
access to clean drinking water is a privilege, especially like in a country where like Flint has not had clean water since 2015. But to be able to drink water when you need it and actually like stopping what you're doing to drink water instead of continuing to power through whatever productive task you're on,
Or
like
to not drink the house water that's been sitting there all day
Blech.
because you're just so thirsty that
pour it in the plants.
I've done it.
Like that's
Gross.
That's a spiritual practice to stay hydrated if you have access to
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, definitely.
I drink so much water. So much water.
You ever go to the desert and just be like, wow, there's like no water here?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's crazy, right? We should do a desert. We should do like a topography series because the desert is fucking wild to me.
Me too.
When I lived in Santa Fe, New Mexico for like 6 to 8 months by myself, it was terrifying. I would see mirages of the ocean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
wild.
was very high.
Yeah.
But I painted mirages of the ocean and because I missed it so much. And it felt like I was living in outer space and it was beautiful in its own way, but
Yeah.
not
coastal
having it
people.
was weird. I'm just a coastal bitch.
Yeah,
Like
we're coastal people.
yeah,
I need to have access to the water.
I just do.
I
like
descend from fishermen.
yes,
Like,
yes. Like my ancestors came to California and to I think like Massachusetts on the coast.
yeah.
Because they were like, we need some fish because
Yeah.
that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Where's them whales at? We're gonna hunt them.
Yeah.
Which is scary. Yeah. I don't think I'll be doing any whaling, but
Yeah, me either.
different times. Different times.
Different times. Yeah.
Whales are crazy too. God, there's just a whole lot going on in there. I'm like kind of uncomfortable, but I'm not. This is good.
Whales stress me out. And like I work with
I'm like,
a whale spirit, but like even the whale spirit, I'm like, I am nervous.
whales have been coming up for me a
I'm
lot.
nervous.
And I don't know why
They're
yet.
extremely large.
You're extremely large and wise.
And ancient. Like it's just it's cool.
Yeah.
But water is like essential for our survival. Water is our connection to our most vulnerable selves, and water is our connection to the spirit realm. And it's cool that this one element holds all these different facets within it.
I love that. I love that for water.
Love that for you, water.
I love that for you, water. There's a lot of cases in which like there's paranormal activity close to a river, close to flowing water because of that. Like it's just
Water spirits are busy.
Yeah, busy little bees.
Especially like flowing water spirits, busy little river nymphs.
I feel like I'm underwater right now.
Me too. It's weird.
It's weird, right? I feel like it's super weird right now. Should we take some questions?
Let's take some questions.
About water? Just kidding.
I wonder if we have any.
About.
Let's see what we have here.
About whatever you want to ask, we'll answer it.
Is it possible to know about spirits that guided you in the past but are no longer with you in the present? Yeah. Absolutely.
Why not?
Divination is the best way to go about that. Whether you are able to divine on your own or you go to a professional who specializes in this type of thing, absolutely you can find out about spirits from your alternate lifetimes, the same way you can find out about your own alternate lifetimes. So that's something that's definitely doable. Let's see. How much do you or should you share with your partner about your magical practice? I'm too eager and I don't know if my spirits are okay with it.
Yeah, if you don't think they're okay with it, then don't do it.
That's the key.
You answered your own question, I think.
Yeah.
But that's a very good question, but I think you know the answer to that.
Yeah. I definitely don't think it's a one answer kind of thing. It's like what feels comfortable for you, and if it's not feeling comfortable for you, then like it's okay to not share everything.
Yeah, it's okay to have secrets, and it may be exciting. You could always write that down in a journal.
Yeah. Let's see. We already did that one. What are your thoughts on numerology?
Numbers confuse me.
Numbers are hard. Look, like I understand numbers within the context of tarot. Like 3s are challenges, 4 is balance, 5 is another challenge, 6 is things evening out again, 7 is reflection.
Just kidding, I fell asleep. We're talking about numbers.
But like beyond that, I don't know. I'm not a math
I think
person.
Numbers
I'm sure
and
numerology is
math
cool.
are magic in themselves.
Yes.
In all seriousness, numbers are magic. Mathematics is magic.
Yeah.
And it's very cool, and I don't understand how I don't understand how to do it.
Yeah. Dude, like
alchemy and that part of it, that's a whole nother
thing.
sitch.
And we all have different gifts of the spirit.
Yeah.
And that's not
and I
ours.
think it's fucking cool. We should talk about I can't even talk right now because water. We should talk to a numerologist.
That would be
have an episode
really
about
cool.
numerology, because I definitely think it's cool. I just have never. I tried to do it when I was a kid, and I was like, ew, numbers. Give me the crystals. So I respect it, and I'm interested in learning more.
I respect it, for sure. And I love hearing other people talk about it.
Like, people do it. They're like, oh, your birthday, and then this thing. And I'm just like, What?
My kids can do all their math homework in their head.
That's great.
Like, they only show their work when they feel like it.
That's amazing.
I'm like, what?
That's cool.
You did not get this from me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nature
so
is
cool.
math. Mathematics is nature, and it's like there's certain rules to nature.
Yeah, it's like emperor energy.
Yes.
Divine order.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I love
Which is
it.
very, very cool.
Yeah.
Not my specialty.
No. I'm more in the like water realms, personally.
I'm more in the creative
water and air
stuff.
Yeah.
But that is very cool.
Let's see.
That's a service I would outsource for.
Absolutely.
Like I wouldn't try and do my own like numerology
Me either.
situation.
Even I've tried like Googling it, and I'm like, none of this, I can't figure this shit out.
Like, huh?
Same with human design. I think it's cool, but it's like it feels numbery, and I'm like, my brain says no. It rejects it immediately.
That's funny.
Do you have any must-have plants that you grow or keep on hand for your practice?
Must have. No, I think the plants that you're drawn to are the ones that you're supposed to be working with or own. Mm-hmm. I don't think all the plants that you own you have to work with magically.
Are there any that like you tend to work with though?
They're like audience members to my show. I don't.
Yeah,
well,
I feel
like
that.
herbs. Yes, that's not true. I should say like basil. I love basil and rosemary and lavender. Okay, Laura, you're thinking of your houseplants.
Yeah.
Lavender, rosemary are my big two. I grow them. Rose, big ones. Those are my big three.
Yeah.
I grow them. I use them. I was thinking more of like my plants because they're like my little friends. Like but those
ones are more like your familiars.
We will have an episode about plants sooner or later,
will.
and we will have people that know more than me about plants.
For me, it's basil, rose, and mint.
Mint. I have mint
Those are
too.
like my top 3.
It's more herbs, I guess, than plants,
Than flowers,
than house plants per se. But you can use house plants and talk to them and all that kind of stuff. If you had to have one herb that you worked with and only one herb, what would it be?
Basil.
Mine would be lavender. So I guess that answers the question.
There you go.
And you know what those need to grow?
Water.
Tie it in a bow. Oh, I'm wearing a bow. Oh, it's all been planned out.
Full circle. Full circle.
Full circle. Well, thank you for listening to Third Eye Bind,
Be sure to leave us a message on the Third Eye line.
which is on our website now.
Yes, www.thirdeyebind.com. There's a really cool form. You can submit your questions there.
Or you can DM us on Instagram.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, that's probably where a lot of questions are that I've been skipping.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. You can follow the podcast at Third Eye Bind Pod on Instagram. There, submit your questions via the Third Eye line by sending us a voice message or text DM. The show is available wherever you listen to podcasts and for you to watch on YouTube. Get early access to episodes and even monthly one-on-one sessions with us by joining our Patreon. Find us at patreon.com/thirdeyebind. Third Eye Bind is produced and edited by Mike Realm. Hosted by Kaitlyn Grania and Laura Wong. Music by Mike Realm. Set design by Laura Wong. You can find Laura on Instagram at Lady Moon Co. And you can find Kaitlyn at kaitlyn.grania.